Did you ever hear the tragedy of the dark times, the wise? I thought not. It's not a story that the YouTubers would tell you. It's a podcast legend. Dark Times was a dark lord of the pod, so powerful and so wise, he could use his platform to influence the community to create life. He had such a knowledge of the developer's intent that he could even keep the games he cared about from dying. The Dark Times is a pathway to many builds some consider to be unnatural. He became so powerful, the only thing he was afraid of was losing his Patreon, which eventually, of course, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his audience everything he knew. Then his audience killed him in his feed. Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.
Welcome back to the Dark Times podcast. I'm Steven.
Hello, and welcome to the Dark Times, a SagaEdition podcast. That's the name of the show. I'm Sam, your favorite young apprentice. Turning to the dark side.
Take that one. God fucking damn it.
Who are you?
I'm Steven, your favorite impressionable young Jedi Knight with a haunting secret.
We can't both be young and impressionable, Steven. Then who's the audience going to listen to?
What if we were both young and impressionable Jedi Knights and we're both on Coruscant?
Oh, man.
But we're both sworn to celibacy.
I can't believe my Padawan is this cute. Wait.
I think we need to move on.
We have some feedback from last week, Steven.
And he's a cat girl.
Nyanakin?
Oh, all right. Yep. Now we're moving on. Now it's over. All right. Yeah. We got some mail from good old Zloy Krolik. Hey, guys. Welcome back from the darkest summer. Good to hear Steven has a new job. One of these days, Zloy, you will learn to spell my name, but today is not that day, man.
It's funny because it's on the Discord.
It's
spelled
on the
right.
Discord. It's spelled just like the other guy who we were talking about last week. It's the same name, same print. Yeah. Anyway, playing tugging your chain. There's Lloyd.
Oh, you know what? It's not on the Discord. You're ZenithSloth.
Yeah,
on the
I thought so.
Discord.
I think it's in the description of every episode, though.
It is in our episodes, though.
Sam, you definitely need more than one burrito for the good job you've been doing.
Well, thank you.
The Starfinder 2 episode was interesting. I haven't played either Pathfinder or Starfinder, but you guys seem to like the system. From what you told us in the cast, it sounds like when Paizo releases it, Starfinder 2 might be a good candidate for making a Star Wars version of it. I think there'll be room for both SWSE and a Starfinder 2 version, depending on how you like either system. For now, I'll stick with SWSE. I know how it works, and I have all the books for it. Hey, that's a great reason.
That's a great reason.
Others may want a newer base system with support for it going forward. Assassins. Where's Mark? Is he the same Mark from Hunter's Mark? That guy gets around. You know, that's a good point. I think it might be. Are you going to do an assassin build contest? Well, fuck, I wasn't considering it, but it's a really good idea. I agree the Dawn of Defiance Roll20 package by Lil Literalist is an impressive piece of work. Glad to have you back, and may the force be with you, Zloy Krolik.
Thank you, Zloy. We really appreciate it. Zloy is, of course, referring to our Darkest Summer Patreon exclusive episode about Starfinder 2nd Edition.
Right.
You know, still available now for all new and existing patrons.
You're a fucking shill, Sam.
Whoa. Zloy mentioned it. I'm providing context for the listeners, Stephen.
Zloy abbreviated "May the Force be with you" at the end of that email, and when I read the email this morning, I was like, "May the fuck be with Friday," like.
Mother Teresa fucks buddies. Whoa, you. Oh,
there's our sacrilege for the episode.
That's well, we've hit our quota.
Yeah.
Well, so we got SWSE. Is this Mimtifably? Do you like?
Can we just start over? Can we just?
Well, you don't like the energy we're bringing this episode?
Can we wipe it all and just start from the top?
This is like the dummy episode we record to get the giggles out.
Yeah,
And the real episode we record right
Yeah,
afterwards.
listeners, we actually record 2 episodes. We have the silly version that we post to Sillyify, and then we have the regular one that you get. If you have to ask how to get on Sillyify, well, buddy, you're not silly enough
for it. God damn it.
What do we do here?
Well, what we do here, Steven, is, hey, did you know that the 16th was the anniversary of the Force Unleashed game?
Hot dog, Sam. I fucking love that game.
How many years has it been?
I've like... that game came out in 2008, I'm pretty sure.
Watch me prove you wrong right
It's
now.
totally
oh, no, you're
08.
right.
Yeah. Oh, it's like I picked it up from GameStop.
15-year anniversary
on release
for the Force Unleashed.
Got the special pre-order skin and everything.
You know what? Should I DM Sam right now?
Yeah.
Shot in the Dark?
Yeah.
Live reaction
Shot
on
in the Dark Times.
Shot in the Dark Times?
Yeah.
Live reaction on air?
Just copy and paste the last one I sent him.
We have to be verified to send him a direct message.
Oh my fucking God.
No! Sam! Dun, 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 dun. Sam, turn off the setting in your privacy settings. He doesn't know. Sam! Dun, 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 dun. He doesn't know the privacy settings.
Well, Elon Musk has once again slighted the Dark Times podcast.
This will not. We will remember this. I didn't know that was gonna happen, but that's really fucking funny.
Totally ready to send him another DM.
Yeah, I was gonna send him a DM.
And we've exhausted all possible avenues at this point. It's never gonna happen.
Man.
It's never gonna fucking happen.
It's so funny. If you know Sam Whitmore, please reach out.
Dog, no one knows Sam. We've already we already talked to the people who know him. They
How
can't
many
get a hold of him
gifted
either.
subs in his Twitch would it take?
Yeah, actually, that's something we haven't
man.
tried yet. Let's raid his Twitch chat and just spam him there.
Just fucking text to speech. Sam, when are you going to get on the Dark Times podcast?
All right, Dark Times Army, everyone get on Twitter and at Sam Whitwer to join us on the Dark Times. No, please do not do that, by the way. That's a joke. Do not at him for our sake. That's wrong. I don't like when people do that.
Speaking of Dark Times Army, Steven, what's the premise of today's episode?
I prefer Gamer Nation, actually. The premise of today's episode, Sam, in honor of the 18th? No, am I doing my math right? That's way off.
What are you talking about?
15th anniversary.
I just said it like 2 minutes ago.
Talking about Sam Whitmer in between there is a full mind reset. In honor of the Force Unleashed's 15th anniversary, we are going to highlight the most iconic and what we feel symbolic mechanic from its let me get through this, you piece of shit.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Man, this is the darkest autumn, dog.
Oh, man. It's extending.
Yeah. We lifted what we felt was the most iconic and truly representative mechanic of the Force Unleashed to feature here today, and that is organizations.
Literally, fuck you. That's so funny. Because I know we've been dying to talk about organizations.
I don't know what an unleashed feat or unleashed force power is. I have no fucking clue. But I do know a thing or two about organizations, Sam, so let's get organized. And if we were like...
unions.
Yeah, hey, well, yeah, yes.
The Dark Times Union.
The Dark Times Union. Remember we joke about when you would unionize against me?
Yeah. The Dark Timesters? Is that is that anything?
This is the funniest episode we've ever put out.
At least to us.
Yeah. And we're not even in the meat of it yet. So, organizations are an enticing optional system in SWSE, and no doubt your players will pretty much always be a member of an organization in one way or another in every campaign you run. In fact, I can't really imagine a campaign that has players in it that aren't part of an organization. That's a lowercase o organization.
Even the Murder Hobo League is an organization.
Yeah, exactly. The party itself is a sort of organization. The world that they exist in demands that they belong to or to an organization. Now, like for example, the Jedi in the Clone Wars campaign you're running is almost certainly going to be a member of the Jedi Order. There's almost no wiggle room there. In Dawn of Defiance, the players are agents of House Organa and, by extension, the Rebel Alliance. They're very much part of an organization. But I want to talk about capital O organizations, all right? This is a framework that's available in SWSE to you to kind of bring like coded mechanical benefits to what is otherwise kind of a natural role play element part of your game. And what I mean by that is that it's a fun and flashy optional system, but you should only really use it when one or more players' advancement in a specific organization is central to the story. Your listener, you already know what example I'm going to use. It's my very own campaign I'm running right now that centers on a starfighter squadron.
Can I tell you?
Oh, go ahead.
I'd love to give my piece on this,
yes,
Steven.
Please.
As a player in that campaign, the maybe friendly competition is probably the word between my character Atorn and our friend Kat's character Sigil.
Yeah.
Like that sort of who's gonna be lead of the squadron. Their org scores were very similar through the campaign, and it's that dichotomy between those characters really played well with the organizations as well.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a stellar example of how like the story can inform the mechanics and the mechanics can inform the story. And concretely what I mean by that is they had this really interesting dynamic where the true like de facto leader of the squadron was not clear. Like Sigil and Atorn had, comparable amounts of experience, but they came from wildly different worlds. Sigil was a Dathomiri clan mother, candidate. And Atorn was, straight out of the Imperial Academy with, fucking straight A's. He was a superstar. And the only thing that, decided, the kind of the pendulum swinging back and forth who was going to lead the squadron was Atorn's sudden and completely, heartbreaking disintegration in the upper atmosphere of Ryloth. Yeah, they fell to flat cannons from an AA or ATAA rather. And obviously it was clear who was going to lead the squadron then, but then, Atorn's shadow, Atorn's like literal and figurative phantom haunts the party to this day. Like it's Sigil's
I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
Right? Sigil's inadequacy has not, gone away. The memory of Atorn is still at the top of her mind. She feels that Atorn was the one destined to lead the party, and maybe she was right. And that's something that the character has been grappling with pretty much constantly since Atorn's untimely demise. And that's just, it's beautiful, because not only did we have a roleplay relationship between those characters, but also a mechanical relationship. And there was a very, kind of paired symbiosis between the two. And that's exactly the kind of mechanics we like.
What do you mean, Steven? I can't just rely purely on mechanics to make my game work?
You
what
can,
the heck?
but you might have trouble getting a second or third session together.
That's like having Dilbert as your game master.
How did it take us this long to bring Dilbert into this conversation?
I've been trying not to. I've been holding back, actually. 76 episodes, baby. That's all it took.
You know what always really fucked with me about Dilbert? His tie.
That was the point. It was wacky.
It's almost uncomfortable in a way. I'm not sure why.
All right, any more talk about Dilbert, and then we have to talk about the creator.
It's vaguely psychosexual.
What? Organizations.
And yeah, and that's what I mean when don't do this in every campaign. It is very clearly an optional system. When the story is about advancing an organization, like in a military campaign, or in, only really some military campaigns, that's when you bust this baby out. When it is a campaign about, various noble houses and gaining influence and prestige within and outside of them, great time to bust out the organization system, because it gives you a number that is tied to the amount of resources and literally just like swagger you command in a group of people. And that's just fucking, that's sauce, baby.
I was thinking like you could also go the pirate route,
Easy. It's a great solution for a pirate campaign. In fact, that very example is echoed like 8 times in the organization page alone. So there's a lot here in the book about organizations, and a lot of it is this chapter. I was reading this chapter on the train, and I was kind of grappling back and forth with is this crap? Do I hate this? Or like, is this well written? The chapter is padded, which it's a SWSE source book, so yeah.
Come on, there's only like 3 things in the Force Unleashed campaign guide. Are we really gonna be? Have you seen the font in those books? It's like 7. Like, I'm not gonna blame them for padding it with whatever they need to convince themselves. It's great. I mean, hey, when you strip it down to brass tacks, it's got good bones.
Good bones in that book. I love
Brass tacks and good bones. Like a fucked up Frankenstein.
This chapter leads you through. I say it's repetitive because it has a whole section dedicated to like guiding you and having you think through these what feel like very basic things about an organization, but they're still good just to ensure that your ideas are fleshed out and ready for the table. So when a player is like, "Hey, what about this?" and you're like, then it repeats those same criteria and how they apply to like game mechanics and what the game offers for you specifically to select from them. So if I were writing this, I'd just bang that out all in one go. But the gist of it is that every organization possesses these 4 things. A type, which is essentially what does the organization hope to achieve and how do they do it?
Like a mission statement for a startup.
No, literally. Like this chapter will guide you through essentially making a mission startup, day-to-day operations, leadership structures for your organization. And we're not going to go through that in the episode because that would be a little tedious, and the chapter itself is already a little tedious. So if you want that, nice thought experiment asking you kind of like baby tier questions about, what's your address? What's mommy's phone number? Where do you go to school? Like literally that stuff. It's all here and you can read it. And if sometimes I have trouble organizing my thoughts for the table and I do turn to stuff like this, and I can totally see how its purpose is there. It does that very well. But right. Every organization has a goal and how they hope to achieve that goal, and that defines what sort of organization they are. A pirate gang has the goal of, racketeering and strewing chaos. A law enforcement organization has the goal of keeping order, ostensibly. Every organization also has enemies and allies. Who tries to stop them from achieving their goals and who helps them do it? Perhaps the pirate gang is affiliated with local swoop gangs, and perhaps the law enforcement organization is affiliated with a more sector-wide corporate sector authority, and maybe a different policing force, maybe other paramilitary organizations. An organization also has a scale, and this isn't exactly the number of members. In fact, that's only one factor of what scale means.
It's like explicitly not also.
Yeah.
It's very, like, the scale can influence the number of members, but it is not indicative of the number of members.
Precisely, and there's 2 really great examples from Star Wars that I'll use to exemplify this. But the scale is more so where or over how wide of an area the organization can access resources to achieve its goal. So, example, Bothan Spynet. Very select group of individuals. There's not very many, I think a couple hundred, if that. Even I'm not even sure if we have a number, but if we do, it's relatively small. But it operates galaxy-wide. There is not really a stone in the entire Star Wars galaxy that the Bothan Spynet cannot overturn and look under. Then there's, the Galactic Empire. Incredibly massive organization, a scale upon which we can only imagine in real life, commanding an entire galaxy's worth of military materiel, resources, and stuff. And yet, their stretch is not complete, especially by the time of the Galactic Civil War. There's holdouts, pockets of resistance and outright defiance to Imperial rule. Despite commanding vast numbers of people and resources, their rule is not exactly complete. The Jedi Order is another good example, too, that has, tens of thousands of members at its peak, but does not and is very powerful and controls a great many resources and holds vast political influence. But, there's still slavery in the Outer Rim. Just a few examples. And then the final thing that all organizations possess, which is kind of ironic because I'm listing criteria for organizations, but the last one is criteria, both for joining and for advancement. Every organization should have clear points about who can join it and when, and how you can advance and why you might want to. There's a couple feats. There's actually quite a few player options that can aid you in this arena, and I've picked out 2 feats just to get your mind turning about what sort of player builds might benefit from running, founding an organization. The first one is Natural Leader, which is from right here at home in the Star Wars Saga Edition Force Unleashed campaign guide. The prerequisite is a charisma score of 13. The flavor text reads, "You are a natural leader and you have founded your own organization." You become the leader of an organization of your design. The organization has a scale equal to 1/2 your heroic level plus your charisma bonus and continues to grow in scale as you gain levels. You automatically begin with a +10 bonus to your organization score for your new organization. And we'll go over organization score in just a second. It's actually pretty simple. What's the default scale on that? So say you meet the base requirements, charisma 13, so it's...
You get that at level 1 if you really wanted to.
Easily. The scale's 1/2 your heroic level, so at level 1, let's say 1. And then your charisma bonus at 13 would be +2? +1. +1. Yeah. So scale of 2, that would be...
That's like...
That's a larger localized
Yeah.
group, which includes a primitive tribe, a cantina, or a trading post. Hey, that's not bad. A whole
Dexter. I guess it's starting a business, huh? Dexter of Dexter's Diner.
It's absolutely starting a business.
It's so funny.
It's a great example. Yeah, Dexter Jester. That's your example for your level 1 natural leader. There you go. Except I think we have a stat block for him, don't we?
Probably.
I gotta know. Sorry, hold on.
The Dexter stat block is like CL12.
It totally fucking would be too. We actually don't have one.
Whoa! What? Oh, I
In
know
fact,
what I'm doing next week.
there is no official basilisk species at all.
No!
But there is one made by Shellwalker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Dexter. Oh, that's what I'm doing next week, Steven.
I hope you do. I hope no one beats you to it. And there's also officer candidacy training from the Galaxy at War book. You've received special training in commanding others in combat, and taking this feat simply just grants a +2 bonus to your organization score. Pretty fun.
+2.
+2. So Sam picked out a few scales here for us to just brush over real quick. There's, scales ranging from 1 all the way up through 20. So, we just picked a few that we thought were fun.
So we got scale 4, and it says the influence would be like a small city faction. The examples provided by the book were like a swoop gang or a small force tradition. And that makes sense because a small force tradition, you have the notoriety of using the force, but you don't necessarily have the notoriety of the Jedi or the Jedi Order or something like that.
Absolutely.
I also picked a 9. It says the influence for a 9 scale organization is planetary, and the examples provided were Corsac or House Organa, which House Organa is appropriate for the Force Unleashed campaign guide because, Force Unleashed. Bail Organa's in there.
Way to go.
I know. I also picked up 17. The influence is partial galactic. And interesting that's only partial galactic. I don't know how they quantify that influence, because it does say the Old Republic, the Jedi Order, and the Rebel Alliance. I wonder how much notoriety it factors into the influence for these organizations.
What do you mean?
And the last one I picked, for example, the Rebel Alliance. People heard of the Rebel Alliance, but do they have a lot of influence really? Or
think by the climax of the war, by the time Return of the Jedi.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because they blew up a fucking Death Star already. Twice, yeah, 2 of them.
I think that might be the Rebel Alliance it's referring to.
It's at that point. Okay,
a Rebel
that's
Alliance
fair.
that controls territories, shipyards, it has, advanced tactical capabilities and can openly oppose the Empire.
And then for the last one, I picked 19. It says intergalactic for the influence scale, and the example is the Galactic Empire. there are no there's no scale 20 organizations.
Yeah, it says none
'cause-
to date, which I think
none
is
to date.
funny. It's like, maybe it could be you. Like, but it's also funny that because it lists scale 19 is intergalactic, which that's debatable regarding the Empire. I think that might be a reference to like the Rishi Maze or like the unknown regions type stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was thinking.
I think
Unknown
there's
regions.
legend stuff where they like send probes to other galaxies. Maybe there are. Well, whatever. That's a different topic. But then it's funny. So scale 19 intergalactic, scale 20 entire galaxy. I think we need to.
I thought intergalactic meant
Yeah, I think
multiple galaxies, but maybe it's within a galaxy.
author needs to check. Jonathan might need to check what intergalactic means there. Because there, it goes 18 galactic, 19 intergalactic, then 20 entire galaxy. Unless that's referring to like the entire galaxy, as in the Star Wars galaxy, which is like the entire like narrative.
The
world.
Living Force is the organization there, Steven.
What about Abeloth? Yeah. Back here, Dark Times. What about Abeloth?
I can make up words too, Steven.
What about the father, the son, and the daughter?
Oh my God, they have no influence. Have you seen them?
They are the Force, Sam. So jot
The
that down.
Infinite Empire of the Rocketons, Steven.
God.
The name is Infinite Empire. Like that's got.
What about them yellow guys from the Old Republic MMO? The Zakul or some shit? Weren't they
the yellow
important?
guys?
Yeah.
Enough about scale. Let's talk about criteria a little more.
Yeah, sure. So the modifiers on what we're about to read off. I actually didn't know this, and because I don't think I read most of this page when I actually sat down to make the organization chart we use. I learned a lot reading it. I was like, oh, that would have been good to know a while ago, but sure, whatever. The default criteria presented in the book are for organizations of a scale of 1 through 7. So that's small localized groups all the way up to large citywide organizations. You're supposed to modify them for larger organizations, divide them by 2 for orgs with a scale of 8 through 14, and by 4 for orgs with a scale of 15 through 20. So
that makes sense. You know what? We have witnessed that in our Zero Distance campaign because of how fast everyone got promoted.
Well, I was going to reveal this later, but I also did design it with the intention that you guys rank up quickly. Because I wanted you guys we had a short form campaign, and I also wanted you to be able to rank up all the way in what was going to be a only 5 level campaign. So that's why it feels a little boosty. And hey,
happy accident.
They gave Han General after one mission. So
whoa. That mission was blowing up the Death Star. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
They gave Luke Commander after that same mission.
That is crazy. Well, wasn't he also like one of the only remaining?
He was one of like I think 6 survivors of that mission. Yeah, I think
meant like of Red Squadron.
Yes,
right?
I believe he was the only surviving. No, Wedge survived too.
Wedge does survive. Yeah.
Wedge flew on Red Squadron. Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, but then Luke took the shot, so that makes him. He's commander there.
Well, Wedge got general pretty quick after that.
Yeah, but Wedge got a cushy desk job as a general.
There's a whole series of books you got to read, Sam. I promise you that didn't happen. Little thing called Rogue Squadron. He ends up getting his own Super Star Destroyer. Wedge does.
That's fucking cool as hell.
Yeah, they paint the starboard on either side, and he commands it.
Oh, classy.
It's way later though. So Sam wrote down some examples of criteria that could increase your organization score within an organization. Being a member of a certain species, that gives you +1. Seems a little weird, but we'll take it.
Yeah, it seems strangely.
Yeah. Like if I showed up to a job and they, gave me a promotion because I looked a certain way, well, might be calling a labor board.
I think there's one that was like member of an unfavored species.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it
one.
gave you a -2. So I was like, wait a minute.
I think it said member of a hated species. Yeah. Negative criteria is of a hated species, -2. Oh, and there's also associates with hated species.
Oh, the Empire's got a lot of a lot of these negatives on there.
Oh, I like the -2 for your charisma being 8 or lower. Like, we just hate you, dog. Like,
Well, you're just not personable, and
No,
then it slows you or your progression in this organization.
exactly. And that would make sense in like a noble house, or, maybe even perhaps the Jedi. Completing a mission assigned by the organization, that's +1 per mission you finish. Oh, wait, you did write down the charisma 8 or lower one. That's great.
I did.
Nice. And hey, it looks like, perhaps unsurprisingly, killing a member of your organization intentionally begets a -20 penalty to your org score.
I think Count Dooku did that.
I think Dooku did that a couple times, And hey, it goes without saying, when your org score drops to 0, you're out. And the game says there ain't no way back in after that, except under very special circumstances. Dooku, in fact, an incredibly great example in that case for imprisoning, embezzling, abandoning, and killing his fellow members of the Jedi Order organization. There's a big list of criteria. You're meant to buffet style, a la carte style. I'm so hungry now. Pick and choose which criteria you think fit for your organization.
These are examples as well, because
Yes.
some of the pre-made ones in this book do go even more specific. I think for the bounty hunter one, there's if you take a bounty but you don't bring him back alive, you just kill him. It's like a -4.
Yeah.
And then for the Antarian Rangers, if you kill a Jedi with a dark side score of 3 or less, it's like a -5.
Wow.
Which I think was very interesting that they quantified it to, 3's the limit.
Every organization, you choose up to 10 positive criteria. And then for each positive criterion, I love seeing the singular form of criteria here, rare in the wild. For every criterion you choose beyond the 10th, you must also choose a negative criterion that reduces a member's organization score. Thus, an organization that has 12 positive criteria will also have 2 negative criteria.
Interesting.
That was one thing I did not know when I wrote up yours, but whatever.
I don't think ours has more than 10.
It might.
Well, we'll find
We'll
out.
see. We're gonna talk about it later. And then an optional subsystem within the optional subsystem of organizations. You paying attention? Hey, wake up.
We're 3 levels deep. Spin your little top and see where we are.
Ooh.
Inception. Yeah.
Some organizations have titles that correspond to ascension through the organization's ranks. For example, a military organization has ranks such as lieutenant, captain, and general, while other organizations might have their own rank structure. I know you world builders out there will absolutely love to innovate and create your own rank structure. It's addicting. It's so much fun. I didn't do it for my campaign. I just used military titles, but you might like it. Typically, a new rank is achieved for every 6 to 10 points gained in an org score, though some organizations might have larger or smaller gaps in their rank system. Additionally, some organizations have smaller gaps between ranks at lower ranks than at higher ranks, making it easier to obtain new titles at lower levels of an org than at higher levels. Some examples here is an org score between 10 and 19 is access to a safe house or an unfurnished apartment within the org's sphere of influence. An org score between 20 and 29 may beget you a meeting with an official or ruler or leader of your organization or a group friendly to your org for 1d4 days.
In 1d4 days.
Oh, sorry, in 1d4 days.
A 4-day-long meeting with Bail Organa.
That sounds like a pleasant vacation.
So,
Yeah. Want to go to the movies?
were you friends with Master Yoda?
Yeah. Friends, we were accomplices.
Oh, man.
An org score of, 30 plus, maybe. Whoa, really?
Nets you the benefit of spending a force point to immediately requisition 10,000 credits worth of supplies, regardless of restrictions.
What the fuck? What sort of organization could you do that in?
30 plus, I'm trying to think of what you would be. I guess you'd be like Thrawn.
Yeah, you'd be like Thrawn or Palpatine. Like, He'd be like baby Jesus himself. Like, how do you flavor that? Like,
10,000.
Deborah, I've spent a force point. Get me 10,000 credits of supplies immediately. Get me 10,000 supplies of Triscuits and hummus immediately.
Janice, I'm throwing a rager in 10 minutes. I need 10,000 credits worth of spice now. Yes, Lord.
We do nothing but retread the firmly paved road laid by Robot Chicken on this podcast.
If it ain't broke, man.
Seriously. I go back to like the every Palpatine Robot Chicken compilation on YouTube. Like,
How do you think I get into character for this podcast?
you also will have duties, things that you're required to do by your organization. You know, I was in the Boy Scouts. They don't let you be in the Boy Scouts if you skip every hike. Like, there's shit you got to do to be in the Boy Scouts and in organizations.
Why that one specifically, Stephen? Was there a
Oh yeah, because I found out like
the hard way?
turns out I'm sick doesn't work when you use that excuse twice every month.
Dude, hiking sucks.
And duties may include things like obtaining a rare or unique object for the organization, or recruiting or rescuing a member of the organization, and the classic kill, capture, or disable an enemy of the organization with a CL equal to 1 plus your heroic level.
I like that it quantifies they have to have a higher CL than your heroic level.
That's just a little bit. I love shit like that because it's just a little reminder, a little wink to the GM to like, hey, make it fucking memorable, make it fucking worth something. Don't have them mow
can't
down.
Be easy.
No one gets a promotion by mowing down 6 stormtroopers. That's what you're expected to do in the rebellion. Now, taking out the customs officer of an important, imperial post.
Oh shit, he was on our payroll actually.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a -5 to your org score, buddy. We're gonna talk about this at your quarterly meeting.
God, the Rebel Alliance quarterly reviews. Oh man.
They bring in the fucking therapy torture droid from the Alphabet Squadron books. Burp. It looks like you killed.
Yeah. Noticed you weren't wearing a bulky ballistic vest and cargo pants this past week. That's going to affect your performance.
And it wasn't a casual Friday either.
You didn't go, yeah, after the good guy finished their speech the other day.
Yeah, you didn't applaud after the rousing speech.
What is she proposing?
Yeah.
That's my favorite Star Wars character.
Oh, I know. Isn't he isn't that Admiral Radish?
Admiral Radis.
Yeah.
No, that's not him.
That's not?
No, he's not even in that scene.
Oh yeah, because they're already there.
Yeah, I don't think we have like a name of the
For that
character
guy.
or actor that just spat that out.
What is she proposing?
It's really funny because it's
fucking
very
love it.
clear what she's proposing.
Well, bro, did you need it drawn out, my man? Like,
Yeah.
come on, it seems pretty straightforward.
We're rebels. We rebel.
I love Rogue One.
Rogue One fucking rocks, man. Oh. Where are we doing? Oh, sorry, I went full Sleepy Joe there for a second.
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, I went full turtle. Yeah, so orgs. You join up if you meet the requirements. You get an org score based off your criteria. You can increase your org score by doing the shit they want you to do. And hey, play your cards right, you might be running that bitch one day. Galaxy of War expands further on orgs. And shut up, I'm trying to run a podcast over
Sorry,
here.
it was just really funny.
Peanut gallery over here.
Oh man.
Orgs are further expanded on in Galaxy at War and introduces an exciting alternative to SWSE's existing wealth and economic systems, gear requisition. It's amazing. It's great. Did you want to bring the CSGO buy round to your campaign? Well, you can. I thought we covered it already. I could have sworn we did, but we didn't. Look out for it next week, folks.
Yes, gear requisition. It's the break time podcast.
That's like almost Nutcheck.
You're the one who did the build time song, buddy. It was. We're only
Remember when
building
you
off
recorded that and you were like, you were so off key. There was no rhythm. I was like, what do you think I was fucking doing? That wasn't my Oscar nominated, like rousing, like single. Like,
And the winner for best soundtrack goes to ZenithSloth for Build Time.
15.6 Gorgillion streams on Spoofify.
Well, it's really easy when your song is like 4 seconds long.
Yeah, I got those TikTok streams.
Oh, man. This is the part of the show where we thank you for listening to the show, right, Steven?
Yes. Hey, thanks. Listen, I don't have a lot of faith in the attention span of everyone else. I thought this shit would have been over with the moment we stopped recording weekly for a full 2 months, like 2 months and a week. But y'all are still here and y'all are still loving it. We honestly couldn't be more grateful for that, for the support you've given us all these years and for the support you continue to pledge. So
don't say all these years. Oh my God, it's a multi-year long podcast.
Yeah, we've been doing this since like 2013, man.
2013 in podcast years, which is 2021.
Yeah. So hey, here's to you. We got some feedback. Wait, why is this here? Shouldn't that be at the top?
No, we got a nice email from Tristan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's we'll go ahead and read it then.
Tristan said, Jesus, can you act more? Can I get some excitement maybe?
Go ahead and read it then, Sam. Hot dog.
Hello, Dark Times Podcast. I'm a longtime listener, never missing an episode, and first time sending an email.
Thank you.
I just want to express how grateful I am for this podcast, as it has inspired me to try and run a game myself in the much beloved Dark Times era. Woo!
That's so awesome.
This will be my first time trying to run SWSE since 2019 when that game crashed and burned.
Ooh.
I actually made a post about it on r/RPGHorrorStories and will include a link to the post. Much love and excitement on my end, Tristan. Well, thank you, Tristan.
Yeah, Tristan, seriously, whenever we get a message like this, my heart just swells, 3 more sizes that day, Grinch style, because this was the mission. This is what Sam and I set out to do, was to just spread the good word of SWSE goodness, to encourage people to, run their own games in the way they wanted to.
Haha, you fell for it. We tricked you into being creative. You thought you were listening to a funny Star Wars podcast. We tricked you into, we inspired you.
Sam's right. That's the con.
That's the con, the long con. Yeah, 76 episodes. We got one person to play the game. That's all that counts.
No, it's a lot more than that. Tristan, thank you. We hope that your story is repeated over and over again until the end of time. We hope people never stop playing SWSE. We hope people never stop having fun with role-playing and never stop telling stories in Star Wars. Because, hey...
someone has to tell stories in Star Wars.
yeah. That's Sam said what I was going to say in 2 sentences and in like 5 words.
Unrelated, did you hear that Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie got axed?
No, I hadn't heard that, Sam. That's deeply unfortunate. I was looking forward to that one.
So someone better keep telling stories in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Because, shit, if Taika Waititi can't, then...
Well, we've already cut to the core of what I was going to go on a short emotional rant about. But yeah, hey, it doesn't matter what they're doing at the top. Star Wars may legally belong to certain entities, but they can't change the Star Wars that's in your heart, baby, no matter who owns it, no matter what's going on outside.
That's right, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really well put. I'm sorry for making jokes about.
No, I think it made it better. Honestly, I think I've gone on that rant like 6 times already. Like it's.
Yeah, man, it's true every single time.
By the way, you should watch Ahsoka. It's
I know.
Good. It's like not at all what I thought it would be.
I'm gonna, so that we can talk about it in future episodes.
Yeah, because it's on. They do some shit that's worth talking about on the show.
I'm bragging that you did it first. All right, let's send you guys back to the show.
Hey, we're here in the second half. No build today. Sam lost it on the way home. Sam literally wrote the build on a pile of loose leaf paper, and then they bumped into their soulmate, spraying papers everywhere. Except, yeah, literally, yeah, and the papers blew away, scattered across 52 pages, scattered across the city, and now they have to go on an adventure to collect them all.
Oh, I like that. That sounds fun.
Yeah, and as with each page, you discover and find strewn about the city, you discover something about each other and the red thread that connects us all in love, Sam. So good luck with that, Sam. I hope, but seriously, get the build back. I don't care about the love sub arc you got going on. So instead, what I'm sharing with you is the organization data I created for the Starship Squadron party in Zero Distance, the campaign I'm currently running. Would I do this differently? Yes. Does it matter? No.
Well, we're learning from your mistakes together, Steven, so that the audience doesn't have to make those same mistakes.
Yeah, and the biggest change I would have made is you guys have that whole like Spec Force / Black Ops kind of bend to your whole deal, and I would have had that more represented in this criteria than it is. But this is kind of a more pure Rebel Alliance Starfighter core criteria, which is what I designed it to be in the beginning. So, basically, this is largely adapted from the pre-printed Rebel Alliance one that's available in Galaxy at War. Basically, what's your BAB? And it's tiered. So like 1 through 5 is +1, 5 through 9 is +2, 9 plus is +3 to your org score. What's your character level? Which half your character level goes to your org score here. And the rest are just yes or no's for the most part. Are you an elite trooper? Are you a noble? How many levels an officer? I really wanted to, since officer, most of you just like blown up bad guys, so I really wanted to spice up the enticement for taking officers. So I think it's every officer level translates to +1 to your org score.
That's pretty cool.
It's a good one. Are you a soldier? Are you an ace pilot? Do you have at least one talent from the leadership talent tree? I feel like fucking Riker in that one show. We made it up. Not this time.
What is it called?
That one was fake. It was a famous show.
Stranger Than Fiction?
Stranger Than Fiction, right? Yeah.
Facts or Fiction or something like that?
Yeah, and that wasn't Riker. That was the guy who plays
Jonathan
on TV.
Frakes.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes. Is he still cool?
Yeah, he's still cool.
Oh, okay, cool. Is he still doing
Hell
stuff?
Yeah. I think they teased bringing back that show, actually.
Wow, that's fun. With him?
Yeah.
That's fun. I'd watch that.
Absolutely, I would.
Get him on the pod, maybe?
Oh, man.
Do you have the skill, focus, knowledge, bureaucracy feat? Do you have the skill, focus, knowledge, tactics feat? Do you have at least +15 or higher in an intelligence-based skill? Listener, you can see how I'm kind of asking for a combination of martial prowess and like noble officer know-how, which your ideal pilot should have a good mix of both. Every pilot has one or the other in balance, I think. Trained in the knowledge, tactics, skill. And then a negative one here is a criminal background prior to enlistment. This one was a little weird to include on a rebel criteria because you're all kind of criminals by default from a certain point of view. But like that one I meant as like a not cool criminal, like
Sure, yeah, sure.
like things that maybe even the rebels would look down upon as a crime, like war.
I don't know.
crimes.
After hearing what our commanding officer's done,
that's a good point. Mission specialist in any skill. That's a feat, as you know. The United Squadron team feat. And are you a scoundrel? That gets you a -1 as well. Again, that was another one where I was like, I don't know, but it was there by default, so I said, sure, fuck it. There's got to be something there. And then I literally just took the rank table for a generic military organization in Galaxy at War, but replaced all the ranks with stuff I felt was more appropriate. The one provided in Galaxy at War had more traditional, like kind of army style things, like general and stuff like that, like private and such.
And private does not feel.
No,
it's not indicative of the Rebel Alliance at all.
It's not very starfightery. It didn't really feel fit. So, and hey, by the way, dear listener, little note for you: if you go searching for any consistency or just really any sort of structure to military ranks in any organization in Star Wars, you won't find it. You're going to have to do a lot of reading between the lines yourself. Like, just look at the like Imperial Navy and its various like iterations across, decades of media. That shit's never been consistent, which is fine because it's all fake fun in space.
Yeah, it's all fun made up stuff, so it doesn't matter.
But the ranks I chose in order are, for an org score of 0 through 3, recruit. 4 through 6 is a flight cadet. Attaining an org score of 7 makes you a senior flight cadet. 8 through 9 is ensign. That's pronounced ensign out there for those curious, not ensign. 10 is a warrant officer. 11 is a flight officer. 12 through 15 is a second lieutenant. 16 through 18 is a first lieutenant. 19 through 20 is a captain. 21 through 23 is a commander. 24 through 25 a major. 26 through 27 begets you the colonel rank. And 28 or above is admiral. And I did some small but not exactly meaningful adjustments to the benefits and duties. I left those largely the same. I just changed them to better fit with a starfighter/vehicle-based campaign. If one didn't seem to include vehicles for whatever reason, I'm not even sure if this happened, I was sure to include it myself.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, Stephen. We're going to have...
Fantastic.
I believe this is included in your calculator that you posted on the subreddit a while ago.
The rank table isn't, but all the criteria are on that calculator.
Yeah, okay. So we'll make a little document that has both in this
in
this
fact,
episode.
Right now I will just paste this rank table into another tab on that calculator. So it's
there we go. That'd be awesome. That way people can use that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Stephen, for bringing us your organization. It's funny that it took this long to get the actual rank table compared to the original calculator. I just think that's funny. Do you have any trivia for us this week, Stephen?
Actually, Sam, I've got something else.
Oh, Stephen, you're too strong, too very big, two heavy-set enforcers just entered my recording booth, and they're holding me at gunpoint. Stephen, what's
Yeah, those are.
Is this a coup? A pod coup?
It's a little bit of a. You could characterize it as a pod coup. I like to think of it as a fun gaming challenge.
Oh,
yeah. So you're gonna guess what stat block I'm reading off of.
What's this game called, Stephen?
This is called Sam Guesses the Stat Block, or those two guys over there literally kill you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have 3 guesses?
Sure.
Yes or no questions?
Yes. Yeah, you get 3 yes or no questions, 3 chances to answer.
Oh, God.
I'm just going to start reading off part of a stat block, and if you fail, I will finally control the Patreon income so I can buy all the burritos I want.
No!
Now, This is a well-known character. I'll tell you that. But I wouldn't call this a main character. I'm going to go a little easy on you because it's your first time.
All right.
This stat block is from the Star Wars Saga Edition Rebellion Era Campaign Guide.
Okay.
His affiliations. You read affiliations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes those give it away too hard.
Pretty much. These ones give it away quite well, I think. If you know who fucking Greedo is, I think you could guess from these affiliations.
Is it Greedo?
Damn it! No. Affiliations are the Rebel Alliance, the New Republic, Rogue Squadron, and Wraith Squadron.
Oh.
This is a medium human scoundrel 1, soldier 6, ace pilot 2.
Oh.
The stat block has 1 destiny point and 5 force points, an initiative score of +12, and a perception score of +10. It speaks Basic and Mon Calamarian. The reflex defense is 27, the fortitude defense is 22, the will defense is 21, with the special abilities Dodge, Elusive Dogfighter, and Vehicular Combat, as well as Vehicle Dodge +1. Stat block has 56 hit points and a damage threshold of 20.
I have a question.
Yes, what's your question?
Did you say this was a Mon Calamari already?
I said this character speaks Mon Calamari.
Is it a Mon Calamari?
I said the character was human.
Oh, shit, you did say that, didn't you? Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh,
That counts
well,
as one of your
shit.
questions, though.
That's fine. That's fine. Can I get a guess in then too?
Yeah, what's your guess?
Is it Wedge Antilles?
Bingo, you got it.
Oh my god.
Pretty easy one, I think.
For someone, Stephen, as someone who played the Rogue Squadron games only when they came out and not since then, I was sweating bullets there for a second. Oh, I see the two your two enforcers have let me go back into my seat.
They have exited the room. Don't worry, they're
Exited
staying in
the
the
room.
hotel down the street, so they can come back anytime.
They're not far away.
No, they're like a block away. They're at the fucking Hilton.
I wonder, how does a stat block compare to Big's Darklighter's stat block?
Why are you going to pit two kings against each other like that?
I'm just curious.
Biggs is CL4. Wedge
really?
is CL9.
What the hell?
But there's probably better to compare. So there's two Wedge stat blocks, actually. There's Wedge as Red 2, which is also CL4, which puts him at the same level as Biggs, which is probably more fair. I think the Wedge stat block I was reading off of is probably representative of more his later career. I mean, it must be if he's CL9.
That's fair, yeah. Especially if he's still associated with Wraith Squadron as well.
Yeah, that Wraith Squadron is like a late post Battle of Endor thing.
Yeah.
Wraith Squadron, fun fact, extreme inspiration for Zero Distance.
Really?
They're basically your
awesome.
whole deal. Yeah.
That's rad.
I took like Alphabet Squadron and Wraith Squadron and just mashed them together, and that's you guys, basically. Wraith Squadron gets out of their fighters a lot more, though. But
Interesting.
I force that, too, though. Their whole deal is like fucking shit up, landing, getting out, doing the mission, and leaving.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Like a strike team.
Yeah, precisely. They're I think officially like commandos or something.
Yeah, like a commando extraction team, something like that. I
Exactly.
could see that. That's super cool.
Yeah.
What's neat? Anything neat about this this Wedge stat block other than
No.
no?
It's quite typical, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's
So it's just a good pilot stat
it's just
block.
a good pilot stat block. You need to pull an ace out of your hat, use Wedge. Fuck. You put Wedge in your campaign. I love Wedge. I mean, everyone loves Wedge.
He's just far enough from the main cast and realistic enough to meet in the Rebellion, which I think
Definitely.
is very funny.
He's like the Bail Organa for the Dark Times era to the Rebellion era, I think.
That's so funny and that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got devastating attack, penetrating attack, point blank shot precise. He's
Oh,
Space
that's
Hound.
not bad.
He's like a baby dev. He's like your character basically, but just
Yeah.
watered down, more
That's
NPC
not bad.
appropriate. Yeah, no, he's a great stat block. I don't remember him speaking Mon Calamarian, but that must have happened in a book somewhere.
I'm sure it's probably because he had a positive int,
Yeah, probably.
you know? And they're like, oh shit, bocce? They're like, I would have given a military sign language personally, but you know.
That's one of those things, kind of like the clone species. That's one of those things that like the devs made and then forgot about.
Steven, do you have any trivia for us this week? Now
I
that my
do.
life isn't in danger.
Yeah, no, you feel safe and all that. I actually found another section on the website I used for trivia that has like better, juicier trivia. So it's under a
juicy
spoiler tag. I was like, what the fuck?
Why you got a spoiler?
I know.
What's the spoiler?
Ian McDiarmid was surprised when George Lucas approached him 16 years after Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi 1983 to reprise the role of Palpatine, as he had assumed a younger actor would play the part in the prequels. In fact, he was initially told by Lucas that he would simply play a senator. McDiarmid found out that he was about to play Palpatine when he arrived on set.
That's really funny.
Really funny.
What? So like he had the script or he didn't have a script? Like how? First of all, he's
I don't know
showing
how
up
these
on set
surprises
with
work
yeah.
out. Yeah, like
Like how is he showing up on set without a script, without having seen the script? That's insane to me.
maybe it's like a dummy script thing they do.
Oh, they just
I've heard of stuff like that before.
Chancellor Gralpatine.
Yeah. Oh boy, I can't wait to be a non-consequential character.
I hope they don't give me a fat ass in this hologram projection. Oh man.
Darth Maul only blinks 3 times.
Double trouble trivia time?
Double trouble trivia time.
Oh, baby, hit me.
Darth Maul only blinks 3 times throughout the entire Phantom Menace. Who the fuck counted that? Like, what the fuck?
There's one. There's two. Write that down.
This is mostly because of the contact lenses that Ray Park wore made it difficult to blink, and Park liked the idea of a villain who never stops staring. He blinks when his double-sided lightsaber is cut in half by Obi-Wan, then a second time when Obi-Wan's lightsaber slices through him, and a third and final time as he registers what happened to him.
That is interesting. I haven't noticed that.
I didn't notice that either. Maul has an iconic, gaze to him.
Oh,
like
yeah.
a straight up leer. We all love that about him, but I never. Yeah. Now let's go count how many times he blinks in the Clone Wars.
I think he does that a lot.
Yeah. It does. I like when he's a schizophrenic spider in like
Weird
Rakata
scorpion
Prime
centaur
not Rakata,
man.
Yeah, not Rakata Prime. What am I saying? It's
Oh,
Raxus Prime.
Raxus.
Yeah. Is that Raxus Prime?
I believe so. Yeah.
It is in my heart. That debuted in Force Unleashed, by the way. Full circle.
Yeah.
All the way back.
Yeah,
Second
I
level.
know, because the trash textures look like fucking garbage on the DS.
You always bring up the DS port. I'm so
That's the
sick
first
of
time that was the first way I
poor
played
kids
Force
in your
Unleashed.
DS port. That's not even the real. That's not even the game I'm talking about.
I know. Can I tell you, when I played Force Unleashed 2 on the 360, I was like, holy shit.
How'd they get that from the DS game, man?
These are totally different stories.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would have been a fun Patreon exclusive. We play can we get Sam Witwer on and play Force Unleashed with them? Please.
You know that Buzz Lightyear meme where they're all the same on the shelves?
Yeah.
It's us, but podcasts, Star Wars podcasts who want to play Force Unleashed with Sam Witwer.
Okay, Steven. Ouch, first of all. And second of all, The Dark Times is produced and edited by me. I'm Sam. Steven's my co-host. You can reach out to us on Twitter at DarkTimesSWSE or email us, darktimesswse@gmail.com. Review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your show. Tell someone about the show, and tell us you told them about the show. Tell your whole table about the show, and we'll shout you guys all out on the show. Steven, do you have a quote for us this week?
I'm trying to find a good Star Killer one. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He doesn't have very good lines.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's basically Goku.
It's sad that he doesn't have a line like Vader's line, like all I see are dead men or something like that.
He doesn't really have a good one-liner at all, which I guess is emblematic because he's meant to be this disposable living weapon anyway. By the way, Filoni is not sly. I know. You know what the dual white lightsaber thing came from?
What?
That was a pre-order bonus for Force Unleashed 2. We see you, Filoni.
We've gone full circle.
Yeah. Anyway, I got the quote. You don't need to know anything except where I'm going. I need to jump to Nar Shaddaa. Can you handle that?
Oh, that was him to Juno Eclipse, huh?
Yeah, I think is one of his first spoken lines to her. Yeah. He falls for her right there, and then
yeah, she's like, actually, I'm the fucking captain of this ship, so you're gonna tell me what the fuck I want to know.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my god, someone spoke up to me. Romance was so much simpler in 2008.
It sure was, buddy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.